So, I think I misunderstood Santa when he told me to learn about Yuletide traditions from all around the globe. When I showed him what I was learning from the Germanic regions, he was all like, "What about the good ones? The Christkindl, St. Nicholas, the Weihnachtsengel?" And I said, "Dude, you need to be clearer in your instructions. You really should know be better by now." Anywho, meet the Dark Winter companions from the Germanic regions. Belsnickel. He shows up before St. Nicholas Day, all judgy and full of rage issues. He's covered in furs, grime, and questionable life choices. He bangs on your door unannounced, like your annoying uncle, stomps inside, and immediately starts grilling children about their behavior. Get the answers wrong? He's got a switch. Get them right? You get candy, tossed on the floor. So you can fight for it with your siblings while he whips the ground for dramatic effect. Honestly, it's a whole vibe. Trauma with treats, fear with flavor. He's like the patron saint of gunkles. Not the gay kind, the grumpy kind. Grunkles? Anywho, at least he's committed to the aesthetic. Say hello to Connect Ruprecht, Santa's uber-religious hitman. While Santa belts out, "Ho, ho, ho," Ruprecht brings the holy hell. He carries a staff, a sack of ashes, and the energy of someone who corrects your grammar. Just for fun. His kink is asking kids if they pray. If you do, you might get a little gift. Fruit, nuts, maybe gingerbread. If you don't, you get an ash bag beatdown. Ain't that special? I swear he exists just to ruin the mood. Schwarzer Peter. A man who does nothing, professionally. He trails behind St. Nicholas like a soot-covered shadow, judging you with the energy of a Victorian portrait that follows you with its eyes. He doesn't grab you. He doesn't warn you. He just stands there, breathing, looming, quietly collecting your sins like they're trading cards. Some monsters roar, some punish, some devour. Peter just exists. Uncomfortably. Honestly, he's the patron saint of doing the bare minimum, which, to be fair, is also me in the happy sweatshop. I just hate making toys. All right, buckle up, because Hans Trapp is a lot. This guy was a knight so evil, the Catholic Church literally went, "Yeah, no thanks," and kicked him out. So he runs off, starts dabbling in dark magic, and boom, new Christmas tradition. Now he dresses like a scarecrow and watches kids from fields. If they're naughty, he eats them. Yep, Merry Christmas. Num 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 num. And St. Nicholas calls this guy a friend. Seriously? Frau Perchta, winter goddess, judge of the lazy. Her resting witch face basically says, "I will cut you." Literally. She shows up during the 12 nights of Christmas to check if you finished your chores. Spinning, weaving, cleaning. Thankfully, toy making isn't on that list. If you did your work, congrats. She leaves you a shiny silver coin. But if you didn't, she, guts you like a fish and stuffs you with straw. Or pebbles. Or garbage. Whatever's lying around. Most animals slow down and hibernate for winter. Perchta makes sure you don't. Frau Holle. Think snow grandma, with severe mood swings. She's the sweet old lady who makes it snow by shaking out her giant feather mattress. Adorable, right? Very cookies and cocoa energy. But she also keeps a cosmic chore score. If you work hard, she dumps gold on you. If you slack off, she pelts you with tar, dirt, and a lifetime of regret. So basically your grandma, but with weather powers and zero patience for your nonsense.
The Schiachpechten. They're the ugly Pechten. Alpine Nightmare Parade. Imagine if a haunted tree stump, a goat, and your worst sleep paralysis demon all got together for a rave. They burst into town screaming, clanging chains, cracking whips, and wearing masks so ugly they could exfoliate the darkest soul. They're supposed to chase away evil spirits, which is great, except they also chase away my will to live. My Yelp review? 0 stars. Would not recommend. Schönperchten. The Perchten that are pretty-ish. They drift around in snowy gowns with shiny masks and festive little bells, bringing blessings, luck, prosperity, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. But honestly, they look like porcelain dolls possessed by holiday demons. Like a Yuletide Annabelle. And really, who wants that? Just because it's pretty doesn't mean it's not haunted. The Booten Mandan. They're alpine creatures who look like a goat, a bear, and a chimney sweep got into a bar fight, and all three lost. Somehow. They show up with St. Nicholas, fursuits, horrifying carved masks, and bells. Ugh, so many bells. Not gonna lie, it sounds like Christmas threw itself down a staircase. Remember that show Scared Straight? That's basically their whole vibe. Scare you into being good. Honestly, effective. If one of these things sprinted at me jingling, I'd apologize for everything I've ever done. Maybe start a nonprofit? So, be good, or get Booten-mandled. Schmutzli, the Swiss soot goblin. He travels with St. Nicholas, but he's not the fun one. He's the one parents point to when their kid steals a cookie and says, "Do you want him to visit?" Schmutzli doesn't talk. He just stands there, holding a sack, like he's debating whether you fit inside. And he's always covered in soot. Honestly, it's unclear if that's part of his job or just poor hygiene. 10 out of 10 would avoid in a dark alley, or a bright alley, or any alley. Krampus, half goat, half demon, all, "You've been naughty." He rolls in on December 5th with giant jingle bells and chains like he's cosplaying Ghost of Christmas Trauma. His job? Punish naughty children. No second chances with this guy. No timeouts. No, whoop-de-doo, here's a lump of coal. He's here to deliver consequences. Birch sticks to whack your legs, a basket to haul you off, and a tongue long enough to qualify as its own horror movie. Like, seriously gross, but also kinda cool. And he follows Saint Nick around like some sort of goth, emotional support animal. Anyway, happy holidays. So here's the thing. I'm the only elf at the pole who believes Krampus is real. Everyone else insists he's just some spooky bedtime story elf parents use to scare brats into behaving around Christmas time. Kinda like how humans treat Santa. Except we know Santa is real. The elves are all, "Krampus isn't real, he's basically the anti-Santa." And I'm like, have you met Santa? He's grumpy, he yells a lot, and his naughty list is longer than a CVS receipt. I'm just saying, Krampus feels way more plausible than a jolly fat elf squeezing down every chimney in one night. And besides, if Santa gets to be real, why can't I have something to believe in? They don't want Krampus to be real, if you ask me. Look, I don't care what anyone says. Krampus isn't a villain. He's just misunderstood. Santa gives you a lump of coal. Ooh, terrifying. But Krampus? He actually tries to scare kids off the naughty list. Santa delivers consequences. Krampus delivers consequences. But honestly, if he didn't step in, that naughty list would get so long, Santa would spend the entire year shoveling coal like some underpaid furnace troll. He's the dark winter life coach none of us asked for, but absolutely need. And honestly, If he ever shows up at the pole, I'm running away with him. Stay tuned while I dive into Yuletide traditions from the Slavic regions.